The curtain of water crashed down inches away from me as I flew closer to the plant growing at the back. It did match the illustration. The Elf King hadn't tried to trick me after all. Taking a quest from an elf was generally unwise, but in exchange for the pixie dust, the Elf King had promised to tell me why my father had come to the forest a few years ago. The father I'd never met. While my foster parents loved me unconditionally, the fact that my magical birth family were still out there and hadn't got in touch had been bothering me ever since I'd moved here. If I got hold of the glitter-tinted plant growing behind the falls, I'd get at least one answer about my past. I beat my fairy wings and hovered awkwardly in front of the falls, getting drenched in the process. Taking a deep breath, I flew to the side of the falls, reaching higher to get into a position to pull the leaves out of the rock. Grabbing them firmly in hand, I pulled hard. The leaves didn't move. I pulled again, putting all the strength I had into it, but the leaves clung fast. "I can help." Nathan leaned off the bank, reaching out with both hands. "I'll hold on to you while you pull." I let go of the leaves and flew back so he could reach me. Then I extended my arm and gripped the leaves again. "Okay, sure." He grabbed my waist and pulled. The leaves came free and I fell backwards into him, pulling both of us off the bank and into the water. A roaring torrent crashed over my head and I kicked to the surface, spitting out a mouthful of water. Nathan emerged a moment later. "Ah!" I pushed my sodden hair from my face, treading water. "Sorry about that." "Did you get them?" he asked, grabbing the side of the bank with one hand. "Yes." I spotted the leaves floating a few feet away and plucked them out of the water. Nathan pulled himself out, his hair plastered to his face. "Sorry." I swam to the bank, clutching the leaves in one hand. "I can't keep my balance, even with my wings." He laughed and reached out a hand to help me out of the water. I took it, awkwardly climbed up the bank, and would have fallen onto my face if he hadn't caught my arm and kissed me. Oh, now that was worth waiting for. He pushed my soaking hair out of my eyes. "Should I not have done that?" "No, I've been waiting for a while." I grinned stupidly for a minute. My clothes were soaked, so were my wings, though I'd forgotten I was in fairy mode at all. Nathan moved back to give me some space to squeeze the water from my hair. His soaking wet clothes clung to him in a way that made me almost forget the leaves I'd dropped on the bank. I picked them up, shedding glitter. Oh no! I looked back at Nathan, who was similarly decorated. The glitter had even ended up in his hair. "I know a drying spell." I reached for my wand, which had luckily stayed in my pocket. With one wave, my clothes were dry. A moment later, so were Nathan's. "Nice job." He looked down at his newly dried clothes. "I haven't seen that one before." "Alyssa taught it to me. It's supposed to be a hair-drying spell, but it works for anything." I put my wand away. "But I'm not sure I can get rid of the glitter. You don't mind walking back to town like that? We shouldn't run into any hunters at least, but you should know you have pink glitter in your hair." He tilted his head. "I think I'll survive it. You got what you needed, right?" "Yeah. I'll hand it over to the Elf King first thing tomorrow."
"You're back at work tomorrow?"
I nodded. Assuming Veronica comes back to town in time. I know they found her, but I'm not sure she took a broomstick like Alyssa. My boss had been hit with a spell which caused her to impulsively run off in search of her shifter ex-husband, the same spell that had turned my best friend into a broomstick-riding daredevil. The spell was off now, and the person who'd accidentally caused it, Rebecca,